now getting those details in regard to the verdict. It is a split verdict in regard to predatory sexual assault. There is a not guilty verdict in that, but on criminal sex assault, guilty from the jury.
Yeah, so the predatory sexual assault, he was up against 2 counts, those being the 2 most serious, both not guilty. Criminal sexual assault in the first degree that you just mentioned, he is guilty. Rape in the first degree, not guilty. Rape in the third degree, guilty. So those are the decisions handed down by Judge James Burke just moments ago. Once again, the 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, which were the most egregious and the most serious counts, not guilty on both counts. Criminal sexual act in the first degree, he is guilty. Rape in the first degree, not guilty. Rape in the third degree, guilty.
Now, there is a change from what we had heard on Friday from the judge. As you may remember, the jury deliberating there had indicated that it was deadlocked on the most serious charges, and there was an offer for the defense to accept a split decision as well as the prosecution, but the prosecution said no to that. And, of course, the judge told the jury to continue deliberating, and so now we do have a partial verdict that was accepted by the defense and the prosecution. And again, as we've been talking, predatory sexual assault, not guilty. However, criminal sex assault, guilty, as well as rape in the third degree, guilty.
You know, it's interesting, the judge, after Friday, after 4 days of deliberations, Mary, as you mentioned, that the jury had come back, said they were deadlocked on some, unanimous on others, and Judge James Burke said, you know what, you have to go back, you have to continue to deliberate. They were released somewhat early on Friday, around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They come back here first thing Monday morning and are able to basically come to an agreement and hand down the charges. Here, as you see the verdicts on your screen, a little before noon here this morning. Once again, not guilty on predatory sexual assault, guilty on criminal sexual assault, not guilty predatory sexual assault, not guilty rape in the first degree, and guilty rape in the third degree. And now I'm sure people that will Monday morning quarterback this will say, was this in Harvey Weinstein's advantage or disadvantage to not take the stand and testify on his own behalf? And some will say maybe he should have, but his legal team decided it was best if he did not take the stand, and they went by what they thought were witnesses that did not offer the most credible of testimony. But now you see the decision handed down by the jury as they have come to a decision here on this Monday morning a little before noon.
Of course, so many questions as to how they determined these, and the one that carried the harshest sentence, predatory sexual assault, he was found not guilty. However, the criminal sex assault count as well as rape in the third degree do carry sentences of jail time, of course, and we are awaiting details now from the jury as to how they came to those decisions, and of course awaiting reaction from both sides.
Yeah, the sentence time will now be interesting to see. Each degree of the predatory sexual assault count was punishable by 25 years to life in prison, but that's not an issue here. The first degree rape and criminal sex acts count each carried a maximum of 25 years. Third degree rape carried up to a 4-year sentence there. So now we will see what happens for the 67-year-old who was found guilty, as you see here, on 2 of these charges.
Another case awaits him in Los Angeles in regard to sexual assault as well. But throughout this trial, we really heard from scores of women who came forward to discuss their concerns about Weinstein and attacks by Weinstein. Many other women have come forward in recent years to accuse Weinstein of sexual misconduct and assault. But in New York, really the most important allegations were the predatory sexual assault. But now we are hearing of rape in the third degree and a guilty verdict on that. We are looking live at pictures from the courthouse as we are awaiting reaction from both sides in this, Harvey Weinstein as well. We have reporters, of course, in the courtroom, and they are about to come out to give us reaction as to what happened when the jury announced those decisions. But again, a question as to how they made this determination in regard to a split verdict, because the prosecutors on Friday had said that they wanted to find out a unanimous verdict from the jury on all counts. We await those reactions.
Yeah, the big decision now will be what happens in the short term here with Harvey Weinstein being found guilty of criminal sexual sexual act in the first degree and also rape in the third degree. Will his bail be revoked, and will he be hauled off to jail in cuffs immediately here today? That's something we'll have to see what the judge's decision will be there. And also, Mary, as you alluded to before, he's got more criminal charges awaiting for him on the West Coast in Los Angeles. That was announced last month. They were basically waiting for the result and the decisions here in the New York case before they decide exactly when he'll go to trial in Los Angeles. He's accused of sexually assaulting a woman and raping another on back-to-back nights just before the Oscars back in 2013. So that case now awaits Harvey Weinstein now with the result of this case. But as you see on your screen, breaking news here for you. A little before noon, this jury finds Harvey Weinstein guilty on 2 of the 5 counts that he faced. The most serious, of course, was predatory sexual assault. He was found not guilty on that count, but guilty of criminal sexual assault. Not guilty of predatory sexual assault. That was the second count. Not guilty of rape in the first degree, but guilty of rape in the third degree. And these guilty verdicts do concur with jail time. So we'll see exactly what Judge James Burke will sentence Harvey Weinstein to with these guilty offenses here.
Emotional testimony from a number of women. One actress, Annabella Sciorra, testified nearly a month ago. She was the first accuser to testify in the closely watched trial. And the jury focused on her during the deliberations. They wanted to rehear her testimony. They also wanted to look at emails surrounding her questions about the Weinstein attacks and her concerns, of course, and her accusations. And so she was one of the women they really focused on during the deliberations, and something we heard about throughout these deliberations. As we know, they started last Tuesday and reaching into today, how much impact Annabella Sciorra's testimony had on this verdict will be very interesting to hear, and we await that information for you.
The attorneys were very combative with Sciorra's testimony. She at first, of course, had accused Weinstein of forcing her way into her Manhattan apartment and barging in and raping and forcibly performing a sex act in 1993, early 1994. And upon cross-examination, Sciorra was grilled about why she opened the door in the first place and didn't find a way to escape if she felt as if she was under attack. Weinstein's lawyer at that point said, well, why didn't you try to run out of your apartment, scratch him, poke him in the eyes, do something to defend yourself? Prosecutors say that Sciorra weighed only about 110 pounds in those days, making her no match for Weinstein, who was in excess of 300 pounds. And she even said at that time he was too big to fight off, she told the jury. So that testimony that went back and forth, and then the jury, of course, wanting to go back and rehear her testimony on day 3 of their deliberations. Obviously, it had quite an impact on this trial.
So again, a guilty verdict against Harvey Weinstein, of course, the powerful film producer, and that dramatic downfall that we have been watching over the years as women have come forward. This sparked the Me Too movement, and now we have seen a guilty verdict on felony sex crime and rape. After the trial, 6 women testified that he had sexually assaulted them. 2 we heard at significant length, and a number of others also came out to testify as well, for other women to also say that they were sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. Again, that not guilty verdict on predatory sex assault, that carried the most lengthy prison time, but we do have a guilty verdict on criminal sex assault and rape in the third degree, rape in the first degree, a not guilty verdict from the jury of men and women who deliberated for a number of days and reheard testimony and were very careful on what they had requested. And we, of course, focused on what questions that they had for the judge and which testimony needed to be reheard by that jury. But again, coming to a decision today, just before 12 o'clock, in regard to the case against Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.